one of those weird and odd topics, right? Because it's all about creativity and spawning creativity out of thin air, and really looking at it from the perspective of, is it only specific people who are born with said creativity? And I think in so many cases of our lives, we are constantly told that you're creative, and that's why you're good at music, and that's why you're good at composing, and that's why you can spawn creativity out of thin air. And to the rest of us, we're told that you're not a creative. Don't even try. Don't even bother. So that's the one angle. The other angle of it is going to be extremely interesting, because we're going to have a look at, how do you spawn creativity out of thin air? Is there a formula to this? I want to explore this a little bit more, and I want to deep dive into some of the research, Leon.
Yeah.
What does the research say about this? Is there a specific time of the day when we are more creative than other times of the day? Is this a generalized universal rule for all people out there, or is this specific to certain individuals, or how exactly does this work? What does the research say about this?
There's a lot of studies, but there's a specific study that I tend to agree with the most, which is Dr. Sahar Youssef. He basically says that when production dips, creativity soars. And this is 100% the truth. And everyone that's listening to this that has never ever thought about this too much will realize the same. When you are not super productive, your mind suddenly soars beyond just the regular mundane tasks of today. I would like to call them like arm's length stuff. Everything at arm's length you need to grab and sort out. At night, all of those fade away suddenly. It's almost like a hard shutdown of all of those problems. You can now see beyond just the arm's length things and see, okay, I need to start thinking about this. I need to start worrying about that. And that's when you start thinking creatively about a lot of other stuff.
And I think the answer to that entire question is, it depends. It really depends on person by person, because a lot of the research that I've done, they've said that some people, most people, are more creative at night, but others are not, right? So I think it really all comes down to, what is your most productive time of the day, and what's the opposite of that, right? So for some people, they might be extremely productive during nighttime, but when they're busy catching up with a lot of work tasks and stuff, maybe that's when it demands a lot more of their time. But if you have a look at other job descriptions and other sort of lifestyles out there as well, you might find that maybe during the middle of the day or the morning of the day, you can exhibit a lot more creativity because you're not as productive. Maybe that's the time of the day that you're waking up, getting into the swing of things. But either way, like, if that's your life, then that's probably your creativity time as well. Extremely insightful, because one of the things that came out of that book for me, that where the penny really just dropped, is the fact that we have to equip ourselves with information. And once that information is sort of solidified within our minds, we can then wait for the opportunity to present itself. And once that opportunity presents itself, we can use that data. So effectively, we've covered this in the past, right? It's
100%.
using content, building up content as much as possible, waiting for the context to arrive, and then using the context to link the content to it, right?
Yes, 100%. I completely agree. Now, what a lot of us then do, and I completely I wouldn't say agree, but I empathize and sympathize with everyone out there, is we, as soon as everyone gets quiet, you just go plump on the couch and you open up, the today views for Netflix or whatever, and you start watching some movies or whatever, and you just relax. Okay. And I think it's important to do that. I really don't want to say, I'm not a psychologist, so I can see how my advice might impact negatively as well. But on some days, if you feel like you've got the capacity, let me put it like that, don't do that. Go sit outside, get yourself a nice glass of wine or a coffee.
I love that.
Or a cigar or a cigarette, and maybe some blues music in the background or whatever, but get quiet. Just go remove yourself from the regular life. I promise you, the most amazing things are going to come to you. Don't even start thinking. Just sit there for a while. The boredom will bring the thoughts. The boredom is going to bring problems to your head that you haven't fixed out. It's going to bring out issues that have been left unresolved.
If you've derived some great value from our show thus far, please take a second to rate and review us on the platform that you're tuned in on. This will really help us to grow the show and reach more and more people, to spread the positivity and change more and more lives. So it will literally just take you a second to rate and review us, and who knows, perhaps you could directly be responsible for changing someone's life today. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Until then, cheers.